I'm going to be looking for a sponge.
He's going to get a sponge first. So, Iku, would you like to tell us what you're going to be doing?
I don't know.
She doesn't know.
I can do. It's a 3 months work. You have to do that in 45 minutes.
Yeah. But you're going to show us some of the programs.
Yeah, something, of course, yeah.
Fantastic. Did anybody here go to Iku's masterclass yesterday? Fantastic. Okay, so you've got a few converts already. And Euan, what are you going to hope to do in the next 45 minutes?
Okay, what I'm going to do is wedge some clay. Then I'm going to put it on the wheel and I'm going to make some pots. And I'm going to put the pots on this board.
Fantastic. Couldn't be straightforward than that.
And then I'm going to take the pots out of this board and put them on here and turn their bottoms.
Fantastic. Yeah. Off you go then.
Go.
And they're both happy to take questions throughout the demonstration, so please pop your hand up and I'll give me time to repeat the question so everybody can hear it. So I'm sure there'll be lots of questions, and straight out of the box. Whose wheel is it?
That belongs to the International Ceramics Festival. Apparently it's a Hungarian wheel. I was going to get Robin Wood, my woodcrafting friend, to make a Japanese kick wheel for me here out of native UK timber. However, that plan didn't come together in time, and ICF dug into the deepest corners of their container and found this ancient Hungarian kick wheel, which I'm about to use for the first time.
He's not joking, he literally hasn't used it before. He replaced the top on it this morning.
It had a very old plywood wheel head, which I cut off this morning and put a new plywood wheel head on. Not quite as beautiful as my keyaki, what's a Japanese oak kick wheel at home, but it will do the job.
And is that the usual size of clay that you'd wedge?
Yes.
Do you know what the weight of that is?
This is 12 kilos.
12 kilos.
This is a blend of Dracot white stoneware and another mystery stoneware and Skava Raku. 75% Dracot white, 12.5 and 12.5 of the others. The stoneware is a bit tight, it needed some tooth for throwing, so.
Can you repeat the other clay? So 75%
Dracot and a mystery stoneware.
Mystery.
And 25% Raku. I was doing a workshop last weekend for North Wales potters with 75% Dracot and 25% Raku crank. The sound of one hand slapping.
Yeah. Okay, can I? This is a
Yes,
urushi.
you do.
I put into the urushi tube. And now I'm going to apply on this his vase. It's broken while transport from Japan to here. So here, and then some cracks here. Yesterday I repaired this one, and then now started finishing. I can't finish, by the way, I'm sorry, because it takes a long time work. Just a taste what the kintsugi is. Should I explain kintsugi?
Yes, I think yes.
Yeah, because no, it's okay. I was just shout. I think I'm the only person who's breaking things. everyone here is making something. And I repair ceramics. And then a lot of people knows about the kintsugi. Kintsugi is a quite old style of traditional Japanese ceramic, not only ceramic, but repair method. And but it takes, as I said, like 3 months or more if I have to do the properly, this one. But I'm doing, because of the material is quite difficult to get in Europe and the UK. So I started using, not only me, in Japan, a lot of people using epoxy glue and epoxy putty to repair the items. And then from 2 months to, I don't know, maybe that one is maybe takes a week if I want to the properly, still using epoxy glue and epoxy putty. And it's half done. But anyway, I'm gonna start Euan's vase, which broke into the pieces. I think already some people received, somebody received nearly 100 pieces of the fragment. So if you received, please use it and make something.
you.
So can I just start? I can't talk while
Yeah,
I'm
you
working.
Work away. You work away.
Just shout at me what you are doing, and then I can explain.
I think everyone will want to know what the materials are.
Oh yeah, okay. This is urushi. So today I'm going to apply the urushi here. This one, I think that's all. And then after that, I will do the traditional gluing, how to make glue, and then glue this one. Okay, I have to sit down here for 3 days, holding to fix. So stay with me. And then, but yeah, and after that, ours is coming. So just I work this one now.
Great. So if we got a camera on Euan there. Euan, we had a question about what clay you use at home.
The clay I use at home is a blend of 75% Mino porcelain and 25% Shigaraki stoneware. Because of the marks on the outside of that jar are igusa, the Japanese rush that's used to make tatami mats. And to melt that, it has to go to cone 10 Sega, cone 12 Orton, which is about 1300. And most ordinary stoneware clays, in Japan anyway, won't go quite that high. So I made a more refractory blend of porcelain and stoneware. So a couple of purposes. Porcelain's very tight. It's like throwing with soap. So I wanted something to put a bit more tooth into it, to randomise the particle size. By having the random particle size of the other stoneware, the Shigaraki stoneware, it makes it stronger as well. The porcelain clay acts like cement, and the stoneware acts like sand and gravel. So you end up with pots that don't look like concrete, but are as strong as that.
And you were telling us something really fascinating last night about the direction of the wheel that I think they would love to hear, about the way you kick and how it's different.
Well, I started potting in Australia when I was 14, so by the time I got to Shimalka Sensei's when I was 25, I'd been throwing for quite a long time in an anti-clockwise direction. Most potters in Japan will throw in a clockwise direction. So I was trying to throw their way, but Sensei was standing behind with his arms folded. He said, "You're used to throwing in the opposite direction, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "It's okay. You can throw in the other direction." But the reason why potters throw in clockwise or anti-clockwise, particularly in Japan, is because most people are right-handed. And if you're throwing in an anti-clockwise direction, as I am now, then when you're making your pot, a bowl for example, your right hand will tend to be on the outside of the pot. See? If, however, you're throwing in a clockwise direction, your right hand will be on the inside of the pot. And just a philosophical difference, the inside of the pot is most important to the Japanese maker because the inside is what you use. The outside is most important to most other people because that's what you see. So although I'm throwing anti-clockwise, I am trying to be conscious of the inside of the pot. That's why I'm leaving the throwing rings. Throwing rings aren't something you put in, they're something you leave in. I would normally have slapped this clay closer to the centre from the start, but I didn't want to interrupt Ikusan's excellent explanation.
Yes, question?
Yes?
And I know that you leave little snake marks on the outside.
Yes?
And I know that packed into the kiln there was no clay on the outside.
Yes?
So what is it that gives it that peach and gold blush?
Okay, I will repeat the question. So this lady bought a pot yesterday and she understands that there's reeds that give the snake-like forms on the outside, but she knows there's no glaze on the pots. So she wants to know what has given that beautiful peachy surface and gold surface on the pot, Euan.
Well, first of all, the igusa, the brown stripy marks on the pots is the Japanese native rush, I was just saying, which is used to make the tatami mats. And as plants grow, they draw minerals from the ground, some of which, when you burn them, become gases, like salts, and some of which remain as solids, like iron and calcium and those kinds of minerals. But when the igusa burns, those salts flash off and give a nice soft red marking. And also because of the wood firing, trees also have that same sort of sodium blush. The clay has something to do with it. My clay is very, very low in iron. It's virtually no iron. So the pink and the gold colour isn't coming from iron at all. It's coming from the interaction of sodium, potassium, and a low silica, high alumina clay. It's the same reaction that gives the pink blush on Shino glazes. The traditional Shino feldspar, which is used in Japan, is called Hiratsu Shino Choseki, and it has very high sodium and very low silica. And it's that ratio of low silica and high flux which gives that pink blush in heavy reduction. The reduction is really important. So my kiln is reduced from 900 degrees up in with the wood kiln. And I also put, as you may have seen yesterday, about 1 kilogram of soda ash mixed with water, and the wood is dipped into that and then thrown into the kiln, so you get a very light soda introduction as well. The same effect can be achieved with a very long wood firing. Also, I reduce while I'm cooling. I crash cool down to 1100 after I finish the firing so that I don't get cristobalite forming in the liquid silica. But then I put an extra stoke of wood into the firebox to allow it to reduce cool. Now, heavy reduction, particularly around 1100, between say 1090 and 1130, will help any metal oxides which are in the clay to volatilize and float to the surface. And that's also what gives the lustrous, the goldy sort of colour So a very heavy reduction between 1090 and 1130, and a reduced cooling on a clay which has very little iron. Iron will resist the sodium. Very little iron, high alumina, and low silica.
I'm going to ask the audience for a show of hands. Who knows what a reduction atmosphere or reduction firing means? What a well-informed audience.
Oh, yeah.
May I ask, sorry, may I ask you how long the materials stay liquid and how,
I said,
and you know, when you mix
Yeah.
these up, how long have you got to work with?
no, it's about 1 hour. It stays like 1 hour. And then, but complete set like this one is like 24 hours to 48 hours, maybe. And then before set, I have to apply gold probably in 15 minutes. Gold, only this one, yeah. It's like urushi is a glue. So, you know, the birthday card when you are small, I hope. And make on the cardboard, and you make a happy birthday, mom, dad, or my daughters, and blah, blah, blah. And then after that, before it's set, sprinkle glitter. Glitter. Yeah, it's exactly same, easy. So you just apply the urushi. This is glue. It's a tree sap, but it's glue. And then apply the glitter. Today I'm gonna do the gold leaf powder.
And we have a question. Okay, we're getting more specifics now in our questions.
That's fine.
Some specifics about the schedule for the crash cooling of your kiln to 1100.
Okay. When you have a very high temperature firing, you get a lot of the silica in the clay fluxing and becoming liquid. As it cools, if it cools slowly, a form of silica called cristobalite, which is a crystallized form of silica, will start to form in the liquid silica. That cristobalite shrinks at a different time and a different rate to the rest of the silica. Silica will normally expand and contract 2 to 3% at 573 degrees centigrade. The reason why you need to slow fire up to 600 is because of that alpha-beta quartz conversion. With the cristobalite, if the cristobalite forms, then no matter how slowly you cool it, in fact, the slower you cool it, the more crystals form, so that you end up with a stress between the two different sorts of silica against each other, shrinking at different times and different rates, and you'll get dunting. So no matter how slow you cool it, in fact, the slower you cool it, the worse it is. And you pull out your pots and the bottom half just falls off because of stress cracks. So, to prevent the cristobalite from forming, if you crash cool, it doesn't have time to form. Crystals grow in a liquid matrix, so you need to crash cool. What I crashed it was from 1300 to 1100 in 30 minutes. So there's no time for the crystals to form. Therefore, there's no stress in the silica. Therefore, you don't get dunting. Dunting being cooling cracks. When you get dunting if you pull the pots out too fast with thermal shock. But it's not thermal shock that causes that particular kind of dunting. Does that answer the question?
More than answers the question. How do you crash cool your kiln?
I just stop stoking it.
Stop stoking.
Yeah, I just leave it. I step away, go and have a cup of coffee or beer or a shower. Come back 30 minutes later and it's cooled down. And then I put another stoke of wood in, close it up, and go to bed or go to a party.
Do you want to describe your kiln, just so people know the kiln that you are firing? Your kiln, what type of kiln it is?
What type of kiln?
Yeah.
It's a downdraft fast fire wood kiln. Double mouth at the front, parallel fireboxes with a flue in the floor between the fireboxes, so the flame goes up the pack wall, down through the work and out through the floor and out the back of the kiln. So it creates a nice convection current that flows through the kiln. Everything can be done from the front, the stacking and the stoking and everything, so it doesn't need so much space around the kiln, so it's good for a small workshop.
Yeah.
My own kiln is 1 cubic metre. The one which I built out there is only 0.38, so it's about a third of my normal firing. And my normal kiln will hold about 400 pots. The arch on the kiln is also perpendicular to the flame flow. So with most kilns, you'll find that the arch, if the flame's going that way, the arch will go that way. I've turned my arch around that way, so when the flame hits the arch, it goes diagonally across the arch, causing more turbulence. A turbulent flow is much faster and distributes heat and ash more evenly throughout the kiln. A laminal flow, which is a layered flow, will tend to have more cold spots and be slower. So for the wood firing, a complex turbulent flow is better. My own kiln has a hard brick outside and soft bricks inside, so that you can replace the inside when it deteriorates without having to build a new kiln. And you can replace any part of it, just the arch or just one wall or whatever, without having to do anything drastic to the outside.
We're about to get into the chemistry mixing here. Would you tell us what we've got in your palette?
Okay, I can talk now. This is raw brown one. I will show you again. This is a raw. Yeah, we say just raw urushi. I don't know, but anyway, it's not pigmented. And then this is basically you buy this color urushi. So now mix with starch, starch glue. Starch glue, like in Japanese or maybe here even, we call nori. So mix. And making glue for out of urushi. So usually, traditional way is like this. You mix with urushi and some kind of starch or glue, starch glue, rice glue, rice glue. Of course, you make it usually. Not usually, traditionally you make it, but I don't, sorry. And then put rice powder or flour and mix. And then usually you mix like almost 20 minutes, 30 minutes to make it sticky.
The thickness must be very important.
Yeah, but this is not chemistry. It's not science. So every person has a different consistency or even a different ingredient. So don't say you're not doing perfect properly because my teacher said blah, blah, blah. But it's a craft. Everybody has a different way. So this is a glue. And you have to make it, traditionally you have to make a, filler and patty, mixing with all kind of ingredient, like a cooking. And because I'm doing quite a lot with this epoxy epoxy way, epoxy glue, epoxy putty. The difference between traditional and epoxy is traditional this one, using urushi for everything, every stage, and then rather than this one is actually weaker, definitely weaker than epoxy glue, epoxy putty. But next time when you break this fixed plate, probably in 10 years maybe, it started falling, and then you have to repair. And for example, like if you drop, maybe it breaks the same line if you're using traditional glue, traditional materials, because it's weaker than ceramic.
So it's deliberate.
Yeah, and using this one. And then, because in Kyoto, the restaurants, they are using the same plate, fixed times and times, and then like 100 years. And then each time when it started flaking off or coming apart, they will take to the same repairer, and they know their material and they fix it. So they can fix nicely. But like my way, this way, you drop and then you make another break. It's not like the same break which had before. So it's getting messier. So that's the difference. So if you are using like, I don't know, if you want to use like time to every day almost, and then 100 years, use traditional way. But if you think that's no, you just want to do something. I won't say fix, do something. Maybe the photo camera maybe show. Anything like arty repair or make I'm sure everybody's doing some arty stuff rather than using. And then,
Your original method would be more appropriate for museum restoration too, isn't it?
Which one?
No, not the epoxy, but
No, in museum using this one because they don't use it. Okay. They are on the show. They're in the showcase, so they use this one. But of course, no, I'm not like this cheap glue and putty. Of course, they have a professional, better than the dentist material. And then because they're not using, so they use this one, this material. Of course, maybe V&A may be different. Yeah.
museums would be like want to be able to remove repair if things moved on.
Maybe, yeah. If it is like a Japanese or Chinese, such kind of stuff, and they have to do, I don't know, traditional way. But my way is to use. It's not for display. So stronger. And then once it breaks, maybe you can use for some art work or repair again, and then another line on your life history. So this is how to apply, same as glue, and then
Just one surface.
I usually do the both, just to save time. And then put them together, okay. And then 3 days. 3 days like that.
3 days.
Yes. Do you have time?
We take the time.
We have a question over here. Bodhi, you have a question?
Yes, for you.
Yes?
Is there much crystallite formation on the way up?
Oh, sorry.
On the...
Way up?
I don't think I need to repeat your question. It's
I
so
don't
your
understand.
Loud voice, Bodhi.
Sorry.
So it was, crystallite
yeah.
formation on the way up.
No. The crystals form in the glaze, the liquid quartz. So you've got to get up to the liquid state first, so the crystals can then form in the liquid matrix.
Fixing one.
Pink shirt.
Have you ever tried your reduction in the cooling in a gas kiln? Do you think it would work?
Have you ever
Yeah, I
tried your
can
reduction in the
explain
cooling in a
how-
gas
how
kiln?
I
Do you
did
think it
it.
would work?
I haven't fired in a gas kiln for 35 years, so Sorry.
One for someone to try.
Yeah. It should be fine. It should work the same in a gas kiln. It's just the chemical reaction. So you've got the carbon there, and you add that carbon to the kiln at the right stage. You should get that reaction, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yesterday you were talking about your kick wheel.
Yes.
I would find you going over that again when you've got the other kick wheel on. And is it easier than the kick wheel that you're working with?
Well, the answer to your last question. Sorry. So
A description about the kick wheel that you have at home, yeah? And is it easier to work with than the wheel you have here? A little bit more information about your wheel.
first of all, the answer to the last question is yes. My own kick wheel at home is much easier to use than this one. This is okay, but it's a little bit. It's not the right height, and it's a little bit rough on the foot. It doesn't. It's a bit doesn't rotate as easily as mine, and it's just not my normal environment. However, I have a couple of friends, they're potters from the Czech Republic, who said that the Moldavian potters say that a good potter can make pots with shit on a pig's head. So, how's the time going? How's the time going? Okay, I'll stop throwing now so I can do some turning. The story about the kick wheel was my own kick wheel.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Go.
After the great East Japan earthquake in 2011, when my house and my kiln were very badly damaged, and the cloud of radioactive materials from Fukushima was floating south across the Kanto plain, I took my wife and children across the mountains and far, far away to my wife's hometown, Minakami. And I decided I didn't want to be complicit to the nuclear industry anymore. And I'd always wanted to be as sustainable as I could, to live in a traditional way and to get off fossil fuels. And when I was setting up my new pottery in Minakami, I decided to take a step back from our addiction to electricity and fossil fuels and try and do things in the traditional way, because people have been making pots for thousands of years and making beautiful and fantastic pots without having to rely on the infrastructure that we have today. So I was looking for a second-hand kick wheel in Mashiko. I'd been trained on a kick wheel at Shimalka Sensei's, and let's face it, I'd just had to move my entire life to a different town after an earthquake, and I didn't have any money or anything, so I was looking for a second-hand kick wheel. And Tomo Hamada, Shoji Hamada's grandson, the relationship between me and Tomo is that Hamada Shoji, who was a National Living Treasure, was in Mashiko, and his number one deshi apprentice was Shimalka Tatsuzo. He's also a National Living Treasure, and I'm his apprentice. Tomo is Hamada Shoji's grandson. And the Shimalka pottery and the Hamada pottery are not next door, so I've known Tomo since 1991, something like that. But he knew that I was looking for a kick wheel, and he said, I've got an old one here, which was left over when we moved from what's now the museum, with the original Hamada pottery, to the new pottery. It's been in the shed in the back of the house the back of the pottery for the last 30 years or so. And it was one that one of the workers used. So it happened to be my birthday, and he said, happy birthday. Here, have this old wheel. So I took it back to Minakami, and I took the bearings off it, and I took them to the local garage and got them degreased, and derusted, sorry, not degreased, derusted, and I polished it up again, and I rebuilt the floor of the studio so it had a throwing deck that the wheel fitted into nicely, and then put the wheel beside the window so I could use natural light. Started using the well water out the back to make my pots. and wedge all my pots by hand, and I fire in a wood kiln, and I can make my entire process without using any electricity at all. So that wheel is one of my treasures.
We're just about to mix the gold.
Okay, yes.
The gold. You want to tell us what's going on?
Gold leaf powder. Earlier, I put the urushi on here. Urushi is, I told you, it's glue. So this is just a 2-second job.
2 seconds. If you're
2
not
seconds,
watching, you
and
can.
then hand it to. But it's incredible. While I'm fixing one breaker, he's already making 13 balls. What's the point to? What's the point to fix a ball? Forget it.
An existentialist crisis on stage.
Yeah. Well, those ones are special. These ones are just ordinary.
This is added value.
Okay. Can you share? Okay.
The gold is added value.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next
we're
one
doing
is
that.
outside.
There we go.
And then probably it'll be on the sale. Okay. From tomorrow.
You don't actually brush it on. You just
Yeah, just
sort of dust
sprinkle.
it. so
Yeah,
that
you just dust it.
Sticks. So the glue must be quite wet.
Yeah, still quite wet. It's unfortunately you have to keep like almost a half an hour. But sorry, I haven't got time.
Pardon me. Okay, you want to get your camera on that?
So after this,
Can you pass that board up here? Yes.
shall I keep
Is the gold dust quite expensive?
them? Yeah, it's now in 2 years it's how can I say doubled. The price doubled. Maybe 10 years. In a how can I say when I started just 10 years ago, probably compared to that time, maybe 5 times more than when I started, like in the 10 years, because now it's an investment. So after set those, this one, usually I polish, varnish, like this. It's already once varnished.
What is the tip of the tool that's doing the burnishing?
So usually, this one is maybe Western style.
Oh, it's a stone.
Yeah, this one probably everybody knows. Actually, I like this one. Works very well. And then in Japanese, usually we have this one. It's fish
Bone? Is it bone? No.
tooth.
Teeth.
Teeth. Tooth. It's a,
Something to get
it's
your
a fish, yeah, bream. What's the sea bream? Bream? Bream. The big head fish. Got a big teeth. Teeth. Sorry.
The scary
Real
ones.
Teeth, yeah. So bream, sea bream.
Oh my goodness.
You'll never look at sea bream the same way now. You know their teeth are used for this.
Shall I explain those ones? So you don't need to have a gold and silver. That's expensive metal. You can do urushi only. Urushi is food safe. You can eat out of this plate. Once it's sealed, like it's even using epoxy. And then, so this is a more sustainable way, maybe. You can repair. And then now, these days, I'm And then they are the traditional way. We call this one is yobitsugi. You put the another plate and then push attach the another piece. Like I put the antique into the new plate. And then another one is this one is the makie naoshi. The makie is a Japanese art, traditional Japanese art using urushi and then metal powder maybe. So you can apply pattern on urushi and then finish with gold. And this is a new way. I used stained glass and then silver finish. So this part I couldn't fit, same as here. So I'm going to put another piece here.
Can we have the camera just on Iku's pot for a minute, please?
Okay. You were talking about the wheel before. This is a bit of a wibbly-wobbly wheel. And a wibbly-wobbly wheel will make wibbly-wobbly pots. So please forgive the slight variations in this. What I'm about to do is called chattering. This is my chattering tool, which is made from a little cutting wire with a metal back that you can sometimes get look like a bow and arrow bow. So give yourself a bit of speed on the wheel, and you put the end of the tool against the pot at a slight angle away from yourself so that the pot kicks it away. It starts to vibrate. When you hear the vibration making a nice sort of rhythm, you move the tool slowly down the pot, and it creates a natural pattern like this, he says optimistically. Okay. Can you get zoom to see that pattern? You don't want to get your shoes dirty, do you? Okay, so it's kind of magic.
I have 2 minutes left, so any time for last questions? The first glue. What was the first glue that Iku used? The first glue, I think.
First material that you put on the lacquer?
What was,
Which one?
There's a question of what was the first glue that you used?
This one.
Yeah.
First glue.
This
Yeah.
one.
最初の糊はどれだったんですか?
This one is I used epoxy glue. I don't understand. Or this or this
順番
one.
として最初に使った糊は何だったんですか? 順番としては最初に
順
使った
番として
糊は
My way. I don't get it. My way or traditional way?
Your way. Your
My way. Just epoxy glue. Yeah, but have to find the right one for use. Like some glue only hold like 85 degrees. So what usually I use like 95 to 98 degrees is how can I say, hold the hot water. So to use for the tea. But for the decoration, anything is fine.
And one final question here at the front.
Yes.
I noticed when you're trimming,
Yes.
you don't do anything around the rim. You just seem to be trimming around the base to the middle.
Yes.
So the question was, when you're trimming, you don't seem to do anything around the rim, you just seem to be trimming the base.
That's absolutely correct, because if I can get that. Thanks, mate. In fact, you can tilt that pot. Yeah, lift it a bit. There we go. All right. Can you pass that around? Okay. So the throne wall is already the right thickness. Okay? You don't need to don't need to turn anything except the bottom because the throne wall is already the right thickness. Okay?
Lovely. Thank you, Euan. Thank you, Iku. That finishes the.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Iku.
Thank you all. And if I could just ask you.